Mariam Atash is an attorney at Prime Counsel Law Firm and a law professor at Bay Atlantic University. Joins me now live via Skype from Washington, D.C. Good to have you with us, Ms. Atash, on the programme. It's an interesting move by the US, but is it legal?
Looking at this, we have to really zone in on the issue. Who do these funds belong to? They don't belong to the Taliban. They belong to the Central Bank of Afghanistan, which was part of a government estate. And that was backing up commercial banks in Afghanistan. So part of the money belonged to depositors. So think about it. If you're in your country and you deposited money in a bank, your government, collapses, and then other parties want to take money that you've been waiting for access to. So legally, I think that this is the issue, is that, let's get a little bit of context here as well. The U.S. was negotiating with the Taliban starting from 3 years ago. Many would argue that the U.S. allowed the Taliban to come into power with no plan, no conditions. The withdrawal was botched, and now the U.S. is trying to put some conditions, but using these funds that are needed to infuse the Afghan economy with capital. Right now, there have been restrictions on how much people can take because there's a fear of capital flight. The economy is collapsing. Civil servants haven't gotten paid. But in the end, Afghans' children are starving, and we're holding up money in a legal process. The Taliban don't have legal authority over funds that were collected in the name of the Central Bank of Afghanistan, which was part of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. So it's not really legal to issue executive orders. And as capable and smart as federal judges are, they're probably not given the context of the governing situation there. Just because the Taliban have taken over doesn't mean that they own legal title to funds that were collected in the state's name. And if the U.S. is not recognizing that entity as owning those funds, then how is it going to allow those funds to be used to pay for judgments, using this money and freezing it for months while the Afghan economy collapses and children die? There's a moral wrong to it, but it's also not legally correct, in my opinion. The U.S. were based on rule of law and justice. We said we were going to Afghanistan to instill democracy. Obviously, that did not happen. But we as a nation, we as a country should follow those same legal principles that we are expecting others to do so. So we have to find another solution, whether it's using this trustee system. All the funds should be with a trustee in the meantime, and it can be managed through the central bank without giving Taliban control, because we have to realize there's a private sector in Afghanistan that has ownership of funds, not even the government. And that would be a solution that would be equitable, that does not take away from the claims and judgments that families of 9/11 have. Those are claims, but this is just not the right pot of money to obtain those funds from.